So in this lecture, we're going to go through the different placements. In other words, where your ads are actually going to be showing up. And this is an important one, so let's dive in. So scrolling down, we have placements. And placements is just the way it sounds. It is where will your ads be showing up. Now, the first thing we have that's automatically filled in are automatic placements, and it says recommended. Now, when we are going through Facebook ads, there's one thing you always need to keep in mind, and that is Facebook never has your best interest in mind. Never. Now, Facebook is a business and they have one goal in mind, and that is for you to spend as much of your money as possible. And that is pretty much what every business wants. So whenever you see anything that says recommended, that is a warning sign. If Facebook recommends it, it's probably because Facebook has something to win on it. And this is one of those cases. Now, automatic placement means that your ads will be showing everywhere, and that is no advantage to you because your ad isn't going to be effective everywhere. So we will never use automatic placements. Also, by using automatic placements, we have no idea and no data on where it's showing and what is going to be working for us. So we're never going to be using automatic placement. We never want to give Facebook that much control. So the first thing we're going to do is just move down and click on manual placements. And the first thing we can see is that we have devices, and we're going to go through that in a second, and then we have platforms. So we're going to start off with platforms. So platforms is basically where is your ad going to be showing, and we have 4 different places. We have Facebook, obviously we're doing Facebook ads, right? We have audience network, we have Instagram. Remember, Facebook owns Instagram, so it's very easy to do Instagram ads. And we have Messenger. And remember, Messenger is where on Facebook we can do our chatting with other people. So you can actually create ads on Facebook Messenger. So now first off, let's go through these one by one. Facebook, that's very easy, right? We all know about Facebook. We're doing Facebook ads, and I'm going to show you where those show up. Now, audience network, that is something that we never want to have clicked in. And the reason for that is simple. Audience network are different places outside of Facebook. So whenever you're using an app and sometimes you see this random stripe of advertising in the bottom, that is using audience network. Or when you're using a website and you can see this small piece of random advertising showing up on that website, that is the audience network. So basically, audience network means that your ad can show up pretty much on any sort of website, on any app, in any placement, on any category of any website. And that is very random, and that is outside of your control. We never want to be outside of our control. Besides, how many ads have you ever clicked on a random website? They showed a random advertising. It's not very targeted, it's not very effective. So we're always going to click this one off. Now, can you make audience network work? Yes, you can make every single thing when it comes to advertising work, but the best practice, the easiest way and the most recommended way is to not use audience network because it's very advanced, it's very random, and it gives poor data. So we never use it, and we never recommend anyone else to use it either. So we're going to click this one off. Then we have Instagram, and in order to use Instagram ads, we need to have an Instagram page, right? An Instagram account where we can actually do advertising for, similarly to how we created our Facebook page. We need to have an Instagram page. So for this example, we're not going to be using Instagram either. I'm going to show you why in just a second, but I'm going to keep this on for now. And then we have Messenger, and Messenger is very simple. If we have a Facebook page, we can do Messenger ads, so there's no problem about that at all. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that we get an example of where our ads might show up and how it's going to look like. So here we have the feeds, right? We have the Facebook news feed. That's where, if you're scrolling through Facebook, that is where your ad would be showing up. We have the Instagram feed, should we want to show up there. And we also get a preview to the right to see how that looks like. We have a Facebook marketplace. We can see what that would look like, etc., etc. Scrolling down, we can see the stories. We have Facebook stories, right? We have Instagram stories. We have Messenger stories. And just by hovering over, we can see a preview of how that is going to look like. These are a little slow to load sometimes, but you see in the preview to the right. We have in-stream, Facebook in-stream videos. We have search whenever you're getting any Facebook search results. We have messages. We have in articles, you can see instant articles, and then we have apps and sites if you want to go with external apps and external websites, which we do not, right? We never want to do that. So we're not going to keep this checked on. Now, the interesting thing with creating ads And this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but that is that you want your ads to look as organic as possible, because no one really likes ads. You probably don't click on a lot of ads, but if your ad actually looks like an organic result, people are much more likely to click on that. So similarly, Google ads look more and more like actual search results, and Facebook ads are looking more and more like, for example, their Facebook newsfeed results and different posts on there. So different platforms are moving towards looking as organic as possible. Now, to move back, there are some best practices we can do. So we're going to start this over, and we're going to really get into the mindset of how to use effective placements, right? You still following? All right, so starting from the beginning, we have all devices. Now, all devices, if we go to the right, we can actually edit this. We can use all devices, or we can use mobile or just desktop. Now, what we know today is the majority of traffic use mobile. But what we also know is that a lot of the time, at least back in the days, most of the conversions happen on desktop, because people on their mobile, they were much more inclined to just scroll through rather than actually purchase anything. But since mobile is getting more and more common, and it's easier and easier to buy on your mobile, this isn't just quite as true anymore. So today, it can actually be a quite good idea to use both mobile and desktop. But this is something that you're going to want to try out later on and see, hey, is it better to use all devices, or should I just focus on mobile, or should I just focus on desktop and then let the results guide you? We're going to talk about how to do this kind of test later on in the course. For now, we're going to keep with all devices. So let me show you something else here when it comes to the targeting. So right now we have the potential reach of 430,000 people. Should I click away Messenger? Nothing actually happens. The potential reach is the same. However, if I click away Facebook, look at what happens to the potential reach. We go down to 310,000 people. And the reason for that is that this potential reach is based upon, we can see here, where the ads have been showing in the past 30 days. So this is data from the past 30 days with similar search results and similar data, right? So this isn't true, this isn't set in stone, but these are estimated results that you can somewhat assume to be getting, right? But if I click back Facebook here, you can see that the potential reach goes right back. However, if I click away Instagram, it actually goes from 430,000 to 480,000 people, and that is because by just using Facebook alone, we can expect to have a bigger reach. Now, what we are going to do is that we are going to use Facebook alone, and the reason for that is because remember, we are trying to sell this product, a couples distance bracelet, which is a product from an e-commerce. And the most likely way, that the highest conversion data, in other words, those who are most likely to buy, are going to be, this is from different studies and different data we have from before, are going to be people in the Facebook newsfeed, because these are also the ads that looks the most like organic search results. So if you're trying to sell some sort of product, this is one of the best practices you can do. So what we're going to go down and do, we're going to remove in article, like this. We're going to remove search. We're going to remove in-stream. We're going to remove stories. There we go, story was already gone. And then we are going to remove right column, video feed, marketplace, and only keep the news feed. And as you can see, the reach is the same because, well, everyone is using the Facebook news feed, and you're gonna reach just as many people there. So this is one of the best practices that you can do. But remember, this always depends on what you're selling. So now when we are selling an e-commerce product, Facebook newsfeed, one of the best practices you can do. But if you're selling something that has to do with photography or just anything that has to do with video or images that might cater better to an Instagram audience, well, then what you could do is focus on that Instagram audience. So it's always going to depend on what you actually have to sell. That is very important to know. But to summarize this, starting off, I recommend that we target both mobile and desktop. I recommend that we never use audience network, and that for now, if you're trying to sell something, especially as an e-commerce product, start off by only using the Facebook news feed and start off there, and then we can start expanding. We can try out Instagram, we can try adding Messenger and get some more data later on. But this is one of the best practices we can do that has one of the highest conversion rates. It's also one of the easiest ways to get our ads out there. So that is placements when it comes to our ads. Always use manual placements, never use audience network. Starting off, use the Facebook news feed only. All right, great job. Now, scrolling down, one final thing, as you can see here, removing audience network as a placement may increase cost per conversion. Select audience network to show ads to your target audience of Facebook. Again, Facebook does not have your best interest in mind. They want you to show your ads in as many places as possible. Yes, audience network is cheaper, but you hardly ever get any results whatsoever. So even though they might actually be cheaper, because you're not getting any results, they're going to be way, way more expensive in the long run. So don't trust Facebook. Get as much control as we possibly can, gather our own data, and make sure that we are making some quality ads. That is why we're doing this. We are learning the best practices. All right. Hope you're excited. I hope you think this is as much fun as I do. We're going to move on to the next lecture. So see you in the next lecture.